Following a prolonged dispute and consequent litigations over the rightful ownership of a portion of land situated at number 1 Folorunsho Kuku Street, a suburb in Opebi, Lagos State, Engineer Abiodun Ariori has faulted claims made by an ex-vice president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Monday Ubani, who alleged that the former was a land grabber and violator of the law in connection to the disputed property. The issue came to the fore when Barrister Ubani issued a statement titled "How Not to Use the Agencies of Government in Lagos State to Grab Someone's Land" and dated December 31st, 2020. Ubani accused Engineer Abiodun of sponsoring hoodlums and land grabbers to invade the land for the purpose of depriving his clients of the right to its possession. Ubani further alleged that Ariori was making use of the Lagos State agencies to attempt to illegally take possession of the property without due cause to a standing court injunction. In his words, few months ago, some men led by one Engineer Abiodun Ariori and few others working in cahoots with other land grabbers invaded a piece of land situated and lying at number 1 Folorunsho Kuku Street off Agbaoku, Opebi, covered with a certificate of occupancy obtained since 1989 belonging to a client company owned by a known Nigerian. The invasion was with thugs and mopo personnel who I understand are men he uses to guide himself and his business. I went to the land and confirmed the invasion. I inquired from the mopo personnel under whose authority they invaded the land. They answered they were under the instruction of one Abiodun Ariori. Reacting to Ubani's claim while speaking to journalists on Sunday, 3rd of January 2021, Engineer Abiodun faulted all allegations by the lawyer. Engineer Abiodun, a Lagos socialite and real estate mogul, described the allegations by Ubani as baseless and defamatory, wondering why a lawyer of his caliber could resort to cheap propaganda in pursuit of public sympathy.
We have been in possession more than 20 years. And about 6 months ago, we were trying to erect some structures from our land. We found out that some mechanics have taken over the place. And we reported them to Zone 2. Why Zone 2? Because some of them arrested. That was when we met Mr. Lawyer Ubani for the first time. He was the one who came to me, so to come and bring this story. It was later I found out that I was the one who put those mechanic on our land that have Supreme Court judges. Since we have been trying to work on that land, we have been using police to frustrate all our efforts on that land. So our lawyer wrote a petition to the Attorney General to assist us on the issue, which I think the Attorney General did the work to the land grabber to find out the truth. We have been on it for a very long time until we got the approval. And based on that, the state government tried to find out the place and who are the people that occupy the land. They found out that there's some shanty building on the land. It's so many that ordinary person cannot handle. It might turn to something else. I think there's also a petition from the occupant, the people living in that area, that they want the state government to come and remove those people out of the land. So happened on the 31st of December. The state government assisted us by helping us to remove all these mechanics and the hooligans. I was surprised when lawyer Ubani started attacking me as a land grabber, this and this. Even if I don't know what to do, is he saying that the government also don't know what to do?
Also speaking, Francis Nwonye, a legal practitioner and solicitor to engineer Abiodun, while substantiating the claim by the engineer, fervidly condemned what he described as a reprehensible and continued defamation of the character of his client, noting that the legal repossession of the land was carried out by his client's company, Prosperous Ariori Golden Ventures Limited, of which he is also the solicitor.
We have legal documents backing us on that portion. His company, not even himself as a person, okay, was engaged by the judgment creditor. And the judgment creditor is the Meadows. There's a family called the Meadows. They are the owners of that place. They are not natives. They bought that land. And they have approximately Gilbert O. Meadows. They bought approximately 13 acres. So you see from the documents that we have that for very many years, even from 1980, they have been defending their rights over that land, dealing with people who are trespassers within the ambit of the law. They never use force or violence or fraudulent means to take over anybody's land. And in the course of those proceedings, those persons who were taken to court as trespassers, the court gave judgment in favor of the widows. Those people went on appeal. The Court of Appeal dismissed the appeal and sustained the judgment in favor of the widows. They still took a step further to go to the apex court. Everybody knows that the Supreme Court is the apex court of the land by virtue of the Constitution. It is a court of record. The Court of Appeal is also a court of record. So everything that transpired at the court below was also part of what the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court inherited. And in those courts, not one, not two, not three, justices sat, and the conclusion was reached that ownership of that land belongs to the widows. So the issue of ownership of the land has been closed, long closed. And then the question of execution, because after judgment has been delivered by the court, the rule under the Sheriffs and Civil Process Act is that you should take steps at enforcing the judgment of the court. Because the judge who delivers judgment in favor of a party is not an interested person, and he's not the one that will be responsible for the enforcement of the judgment. You go by proper applications, and when you approach the court, you will be given access. Insofar as the processes are showing that you are the judgment creditor, and that was what happened.
Barrister Francis alleges that the lawyer Ubani has intentionally continued to tarnish the image and reputation of engineer Abiodun Ariori, labeling him a land grabber who uses the machinery of government to unleash terror on the inhabitants. This development, he averred, did not go well with Ariori, as it has not only impacted negatively on his reputation and business, but has also strained the healthy working relationship he has with his numerous clients.
Is it right when the court of law, from the trial court to the appellate court, have pronounced that judgment in respect of this land is delivered to a social person? Is it right for you now to be calling that same person a land grabber? I saw how the processes were carried out. The bailiff, the sheriffs went there, conspicuously displayed on the property that possession taken from O. The date is there, the self is there. So if there's anybody to attack, you should not attack him, because the first thing is that, number one, you know there is a rule on bureaucracy. You bring a petition to the Attorney General, indicting somebody for, you know, taking your land by force. You can't go and start fighting mechanics. Taking your land by force. You see the presence of people who will frustrate your use of the fruit of a judgment of a Supreme Court, of the High Court. You didn't go there to fight them or shout. You went and approached the office of the Attorney General. You wrote even to the police, and the Attorney General advised the chairman of the task force on land grabbers. You can approach that office and verify this information, whether there's a petition that was written to that office. Remedy. A man who took very many years to build his reputation, you wake up overnight, you did not verify your facts, and you go destroying his reputation, and people start calling him from here and there. I mean, it's something that becomes a food for thought and a food for action. At the appropriate time and quarters, we shall seek redress. And I believe that the law is no respecter of persons. I know that once there's a wrong, there's a remedy.
It is noteworthy, however, that the lawyer Francis has notified Monday Ubani of the decision of his client to sue the legal practitioner as well as seek a 15 million naira damages for defamation.